Welcome, everyone. Today, we will talk about the concept of decentralized brands and their potential impact in the areas of branding, entrepreneurship, governance, and social technologies. We strongly believe that the decentralized brand concept will become increasingly relevant in a future marked by rapid advancements in AI and blockchain. The texts of this presentation are manually created, but they have been read using text-to-speech technologies based on artificial intelligence. The voice is not a human one. Decentralized brands represent a departure from traditional governance models and from centralized brand management. In this model, the control and influence over a brand extend beyond a single entity or centralized group, encompassing a wider network that includes consumers, community members, and various collaborators. This approach is increasingly feasible due to advancements in technologies like blockchain, which offer new ways to ensure transparency and foster community participation. The essence of decentralized brands lies in its ability to leverage the collective insights and creativity of a diverse group. It advocates for a more inclusive process in brand building, where a brand's identity, values, and strategies are shaped by contributions from a broad range of stakeholders. This approach not only diversifies the brand building process, but also helps align brands more closely with the interests and values of their audiences, potentially leading to enhanced engagement and loyalty. In this presentation, we will delve into how decentralized brands are potentially changing the business and marketing landscape. We will look at their application across different sectors and consider their implications for businesses of all sizes, public institutions, NGOs, and individual entrepreneurs. Let's begin our exploration of decentralized brands and consider their role in the modern world. A brand, essentially a unique identity symbolizing a set of values and expectations, serves as an inevitable tool to manage the complexity of human interactions. Brands are everywhere, intricately woven into the fabric of our daily lives, extending beyond mere companies and products to encompass the very communities and societies we inhabit. From the company we work for, to the brands whose products and services we consume, the city we call home, the nation that frames our laws, and even the supranational organizations, all are, in essence, brands. By recognizing these diverse entities as brands, we open up the possibility of decentralizing them in a way that is meaningful for us as individuals and as members of various communities. Brands are crucial for simplifying decision-making processes related to governance, organization, and our roles as economic and social agents. This presentation on decentralized brands envisions a better future where most forms of human organization are reimagined as decentralized brands. We will try to present a new way of thinking about governance and branding, giving concreteness to the concept of decentralization. The decentralization concept, though popularized by Bitcoin and many other cryptocurrencies projects, has remained somewhat fuzzy and imprecise in public consciousness. Viewing a decentralized brand as a new type of social technology positions it alongside technologies based on physics, chemistry, biology, etc., as equally important for social organization and governance. Essentially, the social technology of decentralized brand is a step towards shaping the values and culture of the future, enabling new types of organizations and institutions. The transition towards decentralized brands could be accelerated by the transformative pressure of artificial intelligence, which is poised to liberate human cognitive capacity from routine tasks towards governance and the creation of new collaborative models. This shift is crucial to prevent dystopian futures where people become redundant or relegated to secondary roles in the face of elites evolving into demigods. This endeavor is not entirely original. The puzzle pieces have existed for many years, gradually integrating into public consciousness through concepts like open source, agile methodologies, flat organizations, teal organization, holacracy, and cooperatives. In summary, these ideas collectively represent an easily understandable movement towards redefining how we view and interact with the various organizational structures that surround us, transforming them into more participatory, inclusive, and decentralized systems that resonate more profoundly with our individual and collective needs. In this slide, we will explore why the decentralized brand mindset is crucial and why a growing number of individuals and companies need to rapidly shift from traditional modes of existence to an openness for experimenting with new governance and collaboration methods. In the coming years, we anticipate an evolution of the global political and social system, largely propelled by advancements in artificial intelligence. This evolution is directing us towards models like universal basic incomes, UBIs, or, in contrast, traditional nanny states, marking a significant turning point in world development. At this juncture, the concept of skin in the game becomes increasingly vital, emphasizing the necessity for accountability and direct involvement in these evolving frameworks. Unfortunately, the traditional elites in control of country politics often lack adequate skin in the game, leading to systems susceptible to corruption and exploitation. To circumvent the dystopian futures mentioned in previous slides, we advocate for localized, decentralized UBIs as more viable solutions. Creating another global monetary system, even one initially beneficial, is always at risk of corruption and misuse. We can learn from nature's model of decentralized, resilient, and diverse systems. While certain global systems might be beneficial, they must incorporate strong safeguards against malign transformations. A competitive landscape among powerful yet inherently constrained global governance systems is desirable. Navigating governance in an AI-dominated world is undoubtedly a complex challenge that demands concerted efforts from many of us. It necessitates a thoughtful redesign of various governance and ownership layers and the establishment of multiple safety networks to provide support and ensure stability and resilience in the face of rapid changes and uncertainties. Looking forward, our objective is to create a better future for the majority, not just in terms of economic prosperity, but also focusing on inclusivity and equitable access to opportunities. Decentralized brands can play a crucial role in this, offering more opportunities for elites to contribute and oversee AI-based economic and governance systems. Promoting an inclusive culture and society requires carefully balancing the expansion of the elite class within clearly defined limits. This approach serves two primary purposes: moderating historical development's pace and acting as a strategic deterrent to the Moloch race phenomenon. The Moloch race, resembling a game where even winning players ultimately trade their future for immediate gains only to end up losing everything, epitomizes scenarios where intense competition results in adverse outcomes for everyone involved, often at the expense of the greater good. Many world leaders, having lost their optimism, appear more inclined to build doomsday shelters rather than actively work to stop these harmful Moloch races. We firmly believe in the necessity of setting limits on both the speed of history and the power of elites. Proper competition between parallel systems is key to achieving this. These systems, functioning as brands, should ideally be governed by multiple individuals, especially their members, as much as possible. This approach ensures the equitable distribution of benefits among most participants, crucial in avoiding catastrophic or dystopian futures characterized by rigid social hierarchies, sustained through violence or restricted access to advancement and technology for the majority. Our commitment is to a path that leads to shared progress and equitable opportunities, fostering a society where growth and success are accessible to a wider range of individuals. Given Earth's finite resources, contrasted with the vastness of the universe, the potential for trillions of successful individuals exploring with joy and a thirst for knowledge is immense. Our only real limit is likely our imagination in developing better social mechanisms for massive collaborative efforts. We envision a society akin to Star Trek, where people are driven by passion rather than the necessity of survival or fear of failure. Artificial intelligence holds the promise of abundance, and we should strive for a world of positivity and plenty, moving away from the path of contrived scarcities. The economic system should focus on managing real scarcities rather than creating economic games that produce artificial scarcity. We see the emergence of a third way, blending the strengths of capitalism, such as healthy competition among smaller brands, with the communal spirit of communities. This approach isn't about choosing one over the other, but finding a harmonious balance that utilizes capitalism's efficiency and innovation while nurturing the mutual support found in communal systems. To achieve this balance, the need for a multitude of parallel experiments is obvious. These experiments are crucial in discovering what works and what doesn't in the realm of decentralized brands. By embracing a culture of experimentation and learning, we can collectively move towards a future where decentralized brands not only thrive, but also contribute to a diverse, prosperous, more equitable, and harmonious world. To define a concept, one method is to list its key characteristics. The concept of a decentralized brand is seen as a social technology that fosters the evolution and development of diverse governance forms, all sharing common traits. This approach can be applied to anything from the self-organization of small groups for specific projects to governance models for companies, and potentially to the billions or trillions of people in a prosperous future. The ethos of a decentralized brand is to extract and combine the best elements of previous governance technologies. It acknowledges that in specific contexts, autocracy, oligarchy, democracy, and other forms can offer solutions to the challenges of human group collaboration. However, truly effective governance transcends narrow and dogmatic ideologies by embracing dynamic and adaptive models. In defining decentralized brand, we consider a governance model where decision-making is collectively distributed among all stakeholders. This system values diverse perspectives, from individual contributors to large-scale entities, enabling collaborative decision-shaping. A critical aspect of this model is ensuring every participant, regardless of their status as a majority or minority, has a fair voice in directing the brand or, at the very least, maximizing their agency. Easy forking is central to this model, allowing stakeholders to express dissent or support by branching off into new paths, effectively voting with their wallet or feet. This flexibility and respect for individual choices make the model dynamic. The decentralized brand model empowers and respects all stakeholders, recognizing the value of diverse contributions. This ethos ensures that every participant, from small groups to large organizations, influences the brand's evolution. Agility is vital in the decentralized brand model, facilitating rapid adaptability to new information, changing environments, and evolving stakeholder needs. This responsiveness is crucial in today's dynamic branding landscape. The model also integrates advanced digital technologies like blockchain and AI to streamline governance and enhance trust and transparency. These technologies are essential for an impartial, efficient governance system that keeps up with technological progress. Thus, a decentralized brand is defined by its inclusive, flexible, and technology-driven approach, accommodating a wide range of groups from small communities to large interstate organizations. In decentralized branding, it's crucial to understand that the application of its principles should be flexible and adaptable, varying according to the size of the human group involved. From agile small groups to more deliberate, slower-moving organizations encompassing billions, these principles must be adjusted accordingly. The primary aim is to avoid confining individuals within rigid group structures, instead creating an environment where they can freely move between groups. This mobility enables alignment with groups that best resonate with their values and perceived freedoms. Therefore, the decentralized brand acts as a dynamic ecosystem, facilitating personal alignment and realignment with groups that reflect evolving individual preferences and principles. In our exploration, it's also important to consider the opposing ideas. Prominently, there's the notion of evil, defined as the act of causing violence for the sake of violence itself, a desire for domination and destruction for their sake, and the infliction of unnecessary suffering. Alongside this is the realpolitik approach, which prioritizes pragmatic and material factors over ideological or ethical ones in political decision-making. In realpolitik, the idea of creating demigods to rule society with an iron fist, if feasible, represents a postmodern view of the world. This perspective suggests that concepts of justice are socially and historically constructed and often used to support the power of certain groups over others. This approach echoes Nietzscheanism from Friedrich Nietzsche, who criticized the traditional notion of justice as a creation of the weak to protect themselves against the strong. For Nietzsche, justice is often a facade for resentment and envy. We must be aware of these competing alternatives. Still, our perspective on decentralized brands leans more towards utilitarianism, where an action or policy is considered just if it results in the greatest good for the largest number of people. Increasing awareness among as many individuals as possible seems to justify the practical approach, as more conscious individuals will have greater influence, harmonizing both Nietzscheanism and postmodernism while offering a defense against nihilistic or malevolent ideologies and constructs. As humans, our grasp of reality is imperfect. Most beliefs and cultural norms are approximate and serve as practical guidelines. This leads to people existing in varying mental realities, creating substantial challenges in establishing governance technologies across all societal layers. Additionally, critical questions like the purpose of life or our place in the universe often find answers beyond the scope of science. Interestingly, modern complexity theories or the simulation hypothesis propose alternative explanations for types of realities akin to those depicted in ancient religious experiences. Despite these considerations, we can contend that justice is ultimately shaped and governed by the ability to enforce. Therefore, the capability to foresee the future and the mechanisms to alter the course of a social or economic event are ways to construct realities beyond justice, fairness, contracts, and ethical or legal norms. From this perspective, the decentralized brands approach requires setting very strict limits for organizational entities that, in the name of efficiency or other real or imagined benefits, might endanger the integrity or viability of competing decentralized brands. When examining the nature of complex phenomena within chaos theory involving nonlinear events that can be scientifically analyzed, we find certain limits and attractor states with unpredictable long-term outcomes. These phenomena can be externally manipulated by introducing energies and forces that drastically alter their natural course. The development of technologies for the material world and social technologies like religions and methods of organizing human groups can be interpreted as external influences on most people's subjective realities. As such, it is crucial for as many of us as possible to work on raising awareness and creating space for consciousness growth to transition from a survival-focused existence to a more spiritually inclined, love-based life characterized by growth and exploration. Only then can we ensure that material power enforces a vision of widespread prosperity and beauty rather than succumbing to blind violence and evil. The decentralized brand's mindset and the liquid democracy concept share a complex relationship. However, we are inclined to oppose the universal application of liquid democracy due to concerns about demagoguery, instability, and the potential for promoting conformity. On the one hand, decentralized branding aligns with the goals of liquid democracy, which values flexibility in decision-making and governance. Liquid democracy allows individuals to vote directly on issues or delegate their votes, fostering a dynamic decision-making environment. This reflects decentralized branding, where community members actively participate in brand-related decisions, akin to liquid democracy's fluid voting and delegation. We acknowledge that, ideally, the real source of power and decision-making should rest with the people. We recognize the danger in allowing delegated elites to potentially monopolize decision-making, which could lead to them becoming all-powerful. This scenario must be prevented, as the probability of the vast majority achieving godlike status through technology is minimal, despite beliefs sometimes defying logic and self-interest. From this viewpoint, we align with certain aspects of liquid democracy. However, liquid democracy has notable challenges. The over-delegation of power poses the risk of elites betraying the values and mission they were entrusted with. Demagogues might exploit liquid democracy to gain power and then act contrary to their promises, benefiting a select few. Decisions overseen by strong and qualified experts are preferable to those made by the untrained and easily swayed masses. Furthermore, liquid democracy's fluid delegation can conflict with maintaining a consistent brand identity, which is crucial for success. Continuous changes in decision-making can weaken a brand's market presence. Brand forking can be a more effective alternative than altering brand identity through liquid democracy decisions. Additionally, as participation scales up in liquid democracy, the dynamics become more complex. The ease of voting can lead to proxy voting scenarios, where a few individuals exert disproportionate influence, contradicting the objective of democratizing influence and avoiding power centralization. Partial and cautious fragmentation, as proposed by decentralized brands, is more effective in preventing incorrect decisions from impacting the entire system. This approach echoes the biological wisdom of not putting all your eggs in one basket. Even with equal member involvement, collective decisions are likely to damage the entire system, making liquid democracy a potentially dangerous fantasy. Despite these challenges, the synergy between decentralized branding and liquid democracy presents opportunities for innovative governance and branding strategies. Both concepts push the boundaries of traditional models, promoting more inclusive and dynamic methods. Decentralized branding and liquid democracy could co-evolve, addressing their challenges and potentially leading to more robust governance models. While balancing delegation and direct democracy is essential, there is no universal solution. The motives and values behind a brand or organization are more critical than the operational model itself, prompting us to be cautious and generally resist adopting liquid democracy as a universally desirable approach. We recognize significant challenges stemming from cultural beliefs that impede the adoption of the decentralized brand's mindset. A primary challenge is the lack of insight and understanding. The concept of a decentralized brand can be abstract and may require numerous successful projects and stories to gain traction and become significant on a larger scale. The growing success in open-source spaces, cryptocurrencies, and new organizational structures, such as flat organizations, is gradually addressing this issue. Another challenge is the widespread cultural belief in the magic of majority decision-making. There's nothing inherently just or fair about majorities. The king or emperor has been replaced by the dictatorship of the majority, or sometimes even by the tyranny of a vocal and influential minority. In a strange continuation of justifying the power of kings and elites, the power of the people is often seen as a replacement for divine blessing. While we advocate for decentralization and an inclusive society, we must recognize that democracy can be misused, with majorities overpowering minorities and reducing societal resilience. From the decentralized brand's perspective, imposing a global consensus through voting should be reserved only for essential group-level decisions. Encouraging minorities to pursue their paths maximizes freedom and promotes a more stable organizational form. Governance should ideally follow the vote with your feet or wallet principle rather than enforcing uniformity. The belief that centralization equals efficiency is another common misconception. It overlooks the innovative and responsive outcomes decentralized brands can achieve by leveraging diverse insights and distributing decision-making. While authoritarian governance might offer initial efficiency, the long-term loss of diversity can lead to fragility and sudden system collapses. There's also a misconception that lack of control means chaos in decentralized systems. This view fails to appreciate the structured yet flexible governance models that decentralized systems can offer, striking a balance between autonomy and coherence. The rapid evolution of social governance technologies based on artificial intelligence and blockchain allows for controlled chaos to flourish, but an autocratic model will most likely lead to dystopian outcomes. Decentralization is often perceived as less secure due to the distribution of data and control. However, technologies like blockchain significantly enhance security and transparency in decentralized settings. The notion that decentralization complicates decision-making is a common barrier to adopting the ethos of decentralization. While initial phases might be complex, governance technologies and tools like AI and blockchain can simplify decision-making, making it more inclusive and comprehensive. It's also mistakenly assumed that decentralization is unsuitable for large organizations. We believe decentralized brand thinking is scalable and adaptable for small and large organizations. Large entities often contain departments and sub-organizational units with conflicting values and interests, yet they function by suppressing dissent. Implementing decentralized branding in large organizations would require nuanced voting and decision-making processes. Some believe that decentralized branding is incompatible with traditional business models. This view overlooks the potential for hybrid models that blend decentralization with conventional practices. The fallacy of technology dependence in decentralized branding particularly concerning blockchain, overlooks that while technology is a facilitator, the essence of decentralization lies in participatory governance and shared values. Blockchain and AI offer opportunities to enforce ethical rules, incentivize socially beneficial behaviors, and improve productivity and success. These technologies can facilitate group formation and collaboration in scenarios previously hindered by corruption or governance issues. The risk of reduced brand consistency is a concern, but this fails to recognize the power of shared visions and values in guiding diverse contributions towards a cohesive brand identity. Forking and creating new brands can be a functional aspect of decentralized branding. Inefficiency in scaling is another misconception. Decentralized systems can enhance agility and adaptability, which are crucial for growth. The open source movement demonstrates that decentralized brand governance can bring new opportunities and can easily defeat commercial offers created by classical organizations alone. Lastly, misalignment with regulatory frameworks is a concern. While decentralized branding poses challenges, it can coexist with regulations, especially as legal frameworks evolve to accommodate new business models. Regulatory updates are necessary to support and encourage the decentralized brand approach. It will not happen without our involvement. Only the most enlightened elites will help. Still, we must remain hopeful because the dystopian alternative is undesirable, even for the elites. In conclusion, I believe we have a moral duty to contribute and initiate such projects that will help define a truly better world and free us from the seemingly hopeless cycle in which we are seemingly involved. Hope exists as long as we are alive and capable of thinking and evolving intellectually and spiritually to build a beneficial and prosperous world for as many people as possible. Dystopian alternatives are simply unacceptable, and we must have patience and understanding and work towards a better future without succumbing to despair and fears. At the end of this presentation, I hope we will align ourselves with the understanding that decentralized brands represent social technologies that can shape the future of the economy, governance, culture, and spirituality. I have presented a way of thinking, a perspective on how to see the world, and not a complete recipe that covers all decisions and concrete possibilities. We must conduct hundreds or thousands of experiments and build actual decentralized brands that may align more or less with the ideas presented here. The pursuit of perfection in following these directions is not an end in itself. Still, it would be sufficient to share a minimum set of values that allow us to coexist prosperously and overcome the traumas and historical challenges that still characterize the current political and economic system, which should be gradually reformed and brought to a form that avoids doom scenarios under the influence of technology. In this regard, this presentation aims to initiate two projects influenced by the thinking of decentralized brands, and invite the audience to get in touch and eventually contribute. Of course, the world needs many other initiatives to collaborate and compete in defining and refining these concepts. At this moment, we are talking about two projects: AssistOS, which is defined as an open-source operating system that puts artificial intelligence technologies at the core of its architecture and aims to bring together companies with commercial products and open-source communities to populate this new type of operating system with useful applications. Another initiative is Outfinity, which aims to create a crowdfunding and financing platform for decentralized brands. At the beginning of 2024, we aim to merge these initiatives, making Outfinity an application in AssistOS, but the concepts are still evolving. Thank you, and you can contact us through the Outfinity blog /outfinity.medium.com.